session?
No,
Because
no, no.
last times I shared and I held that I was in charge of the meeting. I couldn't see you when when I watched the video. I could see you during the meeting, but I couldn't see you after the recording was made. I don't know why. I have now tried to adjust the settings so that it is okay. Cross your fingers. I hope it is. Well, welcome to our workshop on turning red. Glad that you decided to join us. Apparently, from the last movies we've been, working with, this hasn't been the most popular one, Diego. Apparently, we had a
Well,
larger
we
crowd.
have, yes. There's a person that, well, could not attend today.
Oh
It
yeah, yeah.
was
There were two
one,
people actually
yes,
who
one or
couldn't
two,
make it,
yes.
but hmm.
Okay, well,
The point is,
so
we are here, and you are too. So I think we could start right away. We know all of
yes.
them. You are members of our workshop. You have been members of our workshops in the past, so I believe introductions are not necessary right now.
Marielle, hello, how are you? Let's see if we can listen to you now.
Oh yeah, let's check
Yep.
that.
Yes,
I will
please.
try to put out. Can you listen on that?
Yes, I
Yeah,
think that now it is better. I think.
Okay. I will turn off the.
Okay.
it is
Wait a
better
minute.
Okay,
now.
maybe that was the problem.
Well, that's not even the first step. That's not even the presentation. There we go. That's the beginning of the presentation, so that we can start properly. Well, yeah, this is why I usually change the view. I cannot see everybody. I have to. Let me see.
Mm,
Can I do this? Well, I don't want to. I don't want to screw it. I don't want to touch anything again. I'm going to leave it like that. I can see Sole.
try not to,
If I
please.
see Sole, I do not see you, Diego, or
No
vice
problem.
versa. So
Okay.
I will keep with Sole, and I will not see you. Well, this is the film we decided to work with this time, Turning Red. Was it the first time you watched it, or had you already watched it before? Abril, Gabi, Marielle, Marielle.
I already saw
Okay. You had already watched it, so I suppose you liked the movie.
Yes, it's the sort of movie I usually watch. It's so fun
I
and
agree with
reminds
you.
me and reminds me my adults and my directioners niece. My niece are directioner.
You need so they could relate to these teenage
Yes, they
these.
were so fan of One Direction.
Oh,
Also, they went, I think that last year was, or the year before, Louis
oh,
came to
yeah,
Argentina, so they
beats
brought,
me. Gabi, do you know anything about that? Louis,
About what?
about Louis Tomlinson, was it? Marielle Tomlinson, something
Oh,
like that?
yes, yes. But I am not a directioner really. I mean, maybe because like I am a little bit older.
Mhm.
So I was already an adult when the one director was really popping off. So I'm not really more like Taylor Swift. She is the one I grew up with. So yeah, but I understand being a fan, I understand going crazy and just being
Yeah.
obsessed with all of it. Yeah, I think it is a fantastic film in that. I watched this one twice. I watched it when it came out because all the machistas, all the cinephiles who complain about women were like trashing on this film, and I said, "Oh, so it's a good film for feminism." So I watched it just out of to spite them, and it was a really fun film. And then I watched it again this week for the workshop. It is really fun, and the director is really achieving some things. It's the second project of hers that I've
It's
seen.
it's one
Mhm.
of those films that when it came out, I really did not pay attention to it. I don't know why, but I didn't really care about the film until I finally watched it because of my daughter, and yeah, I loved it. I thought it was very good. But I found it interesting. I mean, the setting of the film being 20 something years in the past when things were different, and we can see some of that in the film. I believe part of the charm of the film has to do with that. Well, I mean, playing with retro stuff again. Yeah, it's probably Disney's fault because the marketing of the film maybe was not as good as it was with some others. I think.
Mm.
Abril, was it the first time for you? The first time you watched it? I don't think so.
No, it wasn't. I love this film. I am not a big of a Disney fan. I am more of a DreamWorks fan. But
Yes.
when I saw this movie, I thought that this is like fresh air in the new Disney era. Because it's not so maybe melancholic or it doesn't have this turn in the end. That's like some of the new movies, like for example, Coco.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to mention more, but I really love this movie. Yes, I think that is great.
It is true that it is different in many aspects. I believe that some of what Gabby mentioned is the reason for that. You can see women's touch in the film. I mean, I don't want to I don't want to spoil the one of the questions we have ahead, but it's been like 90% of the people in charge of the movie were women, if not
Yes.
100%. I'm not saying 100% because I'm not 100% sure, but I saw that most of them were women, and I just believe you can see that in being a different film. I think. Sole, was it the first time for you?
No, it wasn't. I saw twice, and I liked. That's why I chose to do this workshop. Because and I had to mention that I'm not a directioner. I'm a Backstreet Boys era.
Old school.
Okay.
Old school.
The old school.
Yeah,
too.
I'm
You
from
too.
that.
I'm a,
So in sync, and
Yes.
five
yes,
and six was like
five,
Well,
yes,
5. Do you remember 5? Okay,
then
five.
that's
then it
old.
become
Yeah.
four.
Yeah, we are millennials, people. We're millennials,
we're millennials. Yeah.
and
Kristen?
and I didn't remember about the funny things about the movie, because for me it was very I am a sensitive person, and the part of the mother, the relationship between the daughter and the mother. But I didn't remember the funny parts, and I really enjoyed, and it was really good to see again with another perspective,
Yeah, definitely.
So I
I
enjoyed.
I also believe it's one of those films that if you watch it dubbed, I mean in Spanish, you are missing a big, big, big part of the movie, which are the voice cast. I mean, they're so good, and these Asian American kind of accent that they have, that May and her family have, it's quite characteristic. I think if you are listening to a Mexican person doing the Spanish version, it's not the same, in my opinion. I mean, I usually believe the same for every movie, but this in particular has this extra thing, which is a very good voice cast, even though they're not celebrities as Disney or Pixar is usually accustomed to, but they're good anyway, I think. Was it the first time for you, Diego?
No. I watched the film, or I have watched the film twice.
Mm.
Yes, twice.
Good for you.
Yes, and I agree with most of you. I think it is really funny, and yes, there are many themes here to speak about. That's why I think it was a great choice for me. But
Thank
it
you.
was not, yeah, it was not so popular. That
Well,
is a reality as well.
sometimes
Yes, but well, let's go to the first question if
that's
you.
what happened with geniuses. Sometimes we are not understood in our time, and then in the future,
And then, yes.
you were
Okay.
right. Adolescence was the first
Hmm.
topic that we wanted to discuss related to the film. We were wondering if you believe this is an accurate, I mean, if the film has an accurate depiction of what happens in our struggles with adolescence. Everybody, all of us have had to, I suppose, struggle with adolescence. It's a difficult time for people. I don't know how your adolescence has been, but in general, they're quite bizarre moments in people's lives for very different reasons. But without making it too personal, do you believe it's a good representation of what an adolescent is in our days?
Yes, I think that we have to take into account that it takes place in 2002, if I'm not.
22 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm.
But I think it is quite different from today, and it was quite different from, I don't know, 1990, for example.
Yeah.
But yes, let's go back to the question. What do you think about it? Abril, what do you think? What do you think about the accurate depiction of the adolescence theme?
I think that is totally on spot
Mm.
because when I saw it, I saw my friends. It doesn't matter that I, well, I think that I was an adolescent in 2010, something, but I would
Mm.
say that it's mostly the same. It's like a roller coaster of emotions, and you always
Mm.
feel embarrassed about things that at the end it doesn't matter. And well, I was I was not a directioner or a Taylor Swift fan. I was a The Strokes fan. I don't know if you know the band.
You were an
The
And
indie,
Strokes.
an indie fan.
I
Mm.
was an indie fan. And but fangirling because of these things, it was totally the same. It doesn't matter.
It was okay. It was the same characteristics. Well, maybe yes. Gabby, what do you think about um, this theme? What do you think about adolescence in the film?
I think it is very accurate in many
Mm.
senses. In many a sense, we have like even like if we get a little more studious, we have like depictions of psychology terms like a lot of introspection into who she is and the identity crisis that she's going through because she's just living the childhood stage. So when you are a child, you have this like you relate so much to your parents that it's really hard to separate your personality from them, especially for Mei Mei because she's like super deep, almost they have like this symbiotic relationship with her mother. It's they do everything together. They can so to see that she is growing uh, different, independent, more independent, I guess, because of her interest and her friendships and all of these, especially these things that she tries to repress, like desires for boys, which is something natural, physiological, and also boy bands, which is something that every a teenager also goes in different aspects, of course, because you have boys who are obsessed with football, you have girls who are obsessed with boy bands and all of these things, so it's good to be a fan of things, and I think that this film is a really good representation of what goes on with adolescence in all of these little aspects, but also in the broader scheme, like what I was telling about. You can see the super ego, the ego, all of these things about psychology that I was reading about a book about that, and you can see it in here because she's like hiding under the bed, trying to when she has these desires for boys,
Yeah.
because and it's so human, to have these urges, to have these, and she just hides them, represses them because she's ashamed, and she just wants to be like her mother in a way at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, she is
But yeah,
repressing
Yes.
them. Sorry, she's repressing her feelings at most times, except when she believes nobody's looking. And for instance, when she passes by this boy that she likes shop,
Yeah.
and she shouts things, she whistles, she howls, which is a good thing to be represented on film because this was usually the attitude that boys would have. But in this case, it's
Yeah.
mainly, and it's totally okay that a
And
pre-teenager also has the same reaction for the person she likes.
there are many themes that are tacked on, that have to do with adolescence that are in the film, but some of them are like psychology related to psychology. Some of them are like physiological, but it's really good in that way.
And some other are cultural as well.
Oh, yes, you're right.
But in this case, the family expectation, but we have to take into account as well that it was a Chinese family, if I'm not mistaken, a Chinese
Yeah,
family living in Canada.
yeah,
So
Chinese
I
Canadian.
think that yes, that is an extra there to bear in mind when analyzing adolescence as well. Okay,
Yeah, we
okay.
were going to include one of those questions. I mean, the one related to tradition and Chinese culture. But then again, we thought not everybody should be an expert on Chinese culture.
No,
So
no, no, no. We
then I
can.
believe it was a bit far-fetched to go there. Sole, Marielle?
Me,
Yes. Oh, Marielle.
uh,
Okay.
well, one other thing that she also says that she is an adult, that she
Mm,
can you hear me? That
Yes, yes, we can.
she feels like adult. That is something that happens in adolescence. Sorry. So that is so represents, and the fact that she works at the town. I don't the Chinese town.
yes. Mm,
She has obligations for the teenagers. Have obligation, don't be able to go to karaoke with her friends after school or things like that is um, so different um, situation for her and her friends. She has obligations to complete at the end of the day. Sorry.
Yes.
no.
Which is something that you do not see very common in teenagers, or at least you do not see that very common in teenagers nowadays in Argentina, at least, or in Buenos Aires. I believe some people who have stronger traditions in a way are still are still doing that, but in general,
Mm.
our teenagers don't. So then,
Our teenagers.
yes,
No.
Well, I think yes, that the film shows some characteristics about adolescence. We can see how dramatic maybe we were.
yeah,
It was, yes, it's like, well, I was or I am like that. And it's like all the things are a thing of death,
life or death.
living or death, it's like, well, we have to go to that concert because it's the most important thing. And in that part shows the intensity, the intensity of the
Yeah,
girls, a matter of life or death. Thank you
yeah.
so much. Yes, and in that aspect, I could see that it's a crisis. It's a crisis because we are the teenagers, the girls are searching for some identity, or talking about the protagonist. She's searching something to feel identified, but in the middle, she has to do some things that built with the family, that is totally different. She has to do things in which to it's like about her mother, it's like, well, I have to do this because I have to be I have to achieve the expectations about my parents, about my mother, but I like this part, so in this searching of identity, well, we can see the crisis now. It reminds me, for example, when I was a girl, the moment, for example, when I started to choose my clothes, because my mother used to choose my clothes, and in one moment I chose. It's like, well, I'm gonna choose now, and it was really important for me. It's
It
like
was
Amy said,
independence.
independence.
Yeah, yes, you wanted something different.
Yes, and for the protagonist, what is the name?
May.
May.
Yes,
Maylee.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she likes, no, she wanted to feel like an adult, but inside she knows that maybe it's a long way to that part.
She's a pretender. She pretends to be someone at the very beginning. She says, "Okay,
Yes,
I'm this and that," and everything is a lie. It's everything that she wants to be, but she's not. But what
but
we
it's
learn,
the
yes,
attitude.
yeah,
It's the
yes,
attitude of an adolescent. It's like,
Exactly.
well, but
yeah,
We
you
do
have
that.
to.
mm-hmm.
You're a
Yes.
teenager.
We
It's
when
like you
we
live
are
here.
we are pretending all the time when we're teenagers. We pretend to know what we do, and we pretend to really know what we like when we are not really sure. We pretend to act mature enough now that I'm taller, and my voice has changed. But we don't know. We're just pretending. We're pretending all the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you're just 15. I don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
well, no. Not yet, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. And maybe not for a very long time. Nowadays,
Yeah,
adolescence seems to
you don't
be,
know. You
yeah.
don't know what is adulthood.
Adolescence seems to end at 40s or something nowadays. People
Yes.
say. People say that. I don't know. Well, let's go on to our next question then, which deals with parents, more precisely, well, with family. Obviously, we saw these relatives coming to Maylee's help. The aunties, the so famous aunties. I read on the internet that people are hoping for a kind of spin-off based on the aunties because
That would be great.
they
Yeah.
have attitude and powers and they have
Mm.
opinions. But well, the question actually dealt with, I cannot read, how, there we go. How does the film address the theme of parental expectations, something that we were talking about before?
Mm-hmm.
Is it effective in conveying the pressures faced by children in different families? And finally, is Maylee's mom a stereotypical mother?
Mm.
In many aspects, I don't think she is, but and some others, yes, she is. Well, it depends on the kind of childhood you've had and the relationship you have with your mom.
Yeah.
If you had one, because sometimes people don't have a mother. Yes, Abri, shall we start with you? Yes, why not?
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I think that she may be an stereotypical mother in the sense of Asian culture,
Hmm.
at least for what I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
It's not a lot.
Mm.
You always see that they are really restrictive and they put a lot of expectations, academic expectations in children, but at the same time, they are really resourceful. Like they want their kids to have an education and to develop, but at the same time, they stress a lot, like in the movie. And I think that it might be effective. I remember some of my classmates who might have looked like Maylene and they had this pressure. I think that it does great work in that because as I don't know who mentioned it before, but this director has another project or another short film that is
Yes.
called Dumpling, and it's kind of the same. An Asian mother, a little son that is a dumpling, and yes, I think that is accurate.
Yeah, totally.
I think that she won an Oscar. Am I right?
The director.
I mean, yeah,
We did for Bao, for
for
the short
Bao,
film.
yes,
Oh yeah.
yes.
I
I read
thought
something, but yes.
no, I thought Val was a bit weird. I get it. I get the message, you
Mm.
know, but it's a bit when my child saw it, and she's 4, she was like, no, she wanted to cry
It is
because
very,
because the dumpling was getting eaten. But anyway,
yeah.
Silly.
Well, yes, we can see that about the expectation in some things about, well, for example, the aunt and the mother, not the father. We can see, well, in that part, we can see the how the women are maybe in charge. I don't know, and we can see how the mother is like, well, she rules everything, and but then maybe we know why, maybe some reasons, I don't know, but about the expectation, yes, we can see how the pressure, how the expectations can be so high, uh, in a child, and maybe as parents we don't realize about that, and we confuse, or the mother maybe confuses that with protection, protection, and well, we can see a stereotypical mother in dealing with the protection of her daughter. Maybe she thinks that protecting her, she's gonna realize about some things, and then it's like, well, no, you in that protection, she doesn't realize about uh, maybe some other things that maybe are important to her daughter too. Uh, so in that part, maybe we can see how complex is the education. No, is really clear for me in that part, in that aspects.
Yeah, and well, I believe Marielle and Sole could actually say this better than me, but daughter and mother relationships are supposed to be, different from the relationship that sons have with their mothers or that you have with your fathers. I believe for many reasons it could be special, for good or for bad, but I mean, it could be really, it could make a huge indentation on people's personalities and in people's life for the rest of their lives. I mean, the same goes for boys, for sons, but I believe at some point girls want to be like their moms, right? I believe. I don't know.
I was thinking
Um,
about something that Soli said about being a protective mother, and I think that's not an issue. I think that's not the problem. It is because she was not protective, in my opinion. She was overprotective. um, I'm
He was
remembering the
making the same.
different scenes, right, in which she was hiding behind a tree or something,
yeah.
following the May to school, but she was overprotective. And I was thinking about the role of the father in the film.
I'm not an expert on
I
Chinese culture, but I believe
well, yeah.
in some families this is a very matriarchal society.
Mm,
I mean, in which mothers or I mean, aged women usually have the final word in many aspects, especially money and family decisions, That's what I think. That's what I heard. Marielle wanted to say something, sorry.
No, I feel the same that she was overprotecting. The worst things that could happen to another is that your mom goes to school, your mom takes the boy that you like, or things like that. That is the fact that um, start the feelings, the dreamings, and all these things that make her become the red panda in the first time.
That was
So that is
extreme
so
situation.
embarrassing for a teenager that your mom comes to school, that your mom comes to the place, that all those things make embarrass her.
Yeah.
But the expectation is mostly of that culture, um, Chinese culture, but also the stricter parents used to make that expectation of what they think is the best for their child, and put all the things that stays in our beliefs forever. Even when we grow up, we always want to be the best of the best because our parents make us feel that, or believe that we have to be the best of the best.
And which will also be a difficult aspect to ignore when you become a parent. I mean, I was thinking about what you were saying, Marielle, and I don't know if I will have if I will apply the same pressure on my daughter as my parents did with me. Whether it was a lot of pressure or nothing at all, but I usually believe that we are a result of what our parents were. Whether we either imitate them or try to follow their example, we try to do completely the opposite in some cases. But I mean, obviously, parenthood is really important for a person's life, and it will, in a way, decide what their future will be or what their future can be. We can change the mistakes. Yes, we can try, or we can do what we think is better to change it, but maybe it's worse, or maybe it's just, taking another direction to arrive to the same destination, which is la 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 la. This music is horrible. These children are not good for you. Bad influence, bad influence. And I mean, maybe we repeat the same model that our parents had with us. Well, I'm not talking about my particular case, my family. Gabby. And when Gabby poses her argument, if he can, we are going to pass on. We're going to stop the meeting and we're going to restart because it's about to end. Gabby.
Yes, I basically agree with everything that's been said about this part. And I could reiterate that our idea about the symbiotic relationship they have. Like, if you ask Maylee's mother who she is, she's gonna say Maylee's mother. That's that's who she is. She's basing her whole identity into the role of being her mother. And if she fails, I mean, if Maylee fails in her vision of what Maylee is supposed to be or what she's supposed to do, then she's to blame. So she feels she's also putting expectations on herself on how to protect, how to guard, how to control Maylee's role. And if you ask Mei Lee at the beginning of the movie who she is, she's probably gonna say my mother's daughter. So that's what I think it changes throughout the film, and by the end she is trying to find herself, and that's the separation I was talking about that is growing between them, in which finding your own self is distinguishing from other people, is finding your place in the world and what you like and fighting for that. And about stereotypes, I think it is what you said, Matthias, about if you see it from the perspective of a patriarchal family, it is not stereotypical. But if you see it from other cultures who are more matriarchal in type, yes, it is stereotypical in that she's the breadwinner while the father is staying at home and being supportive but not making any decisions whatsoever. So yeah, that's my input.
Yeah. Yeah, the role of the dad is like really quiet there on the back, but he is there. I mean, he remains there. He cooks. He
It's
seems to
like the
be
silent supporter, which is like in many movies we see the women being that role, just
Yes.
cooking, cleaning, and
Mhm.
being there for the dad, being there for the dad who is the main character, basically.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. It's about to end. Let's restart immediately with the same link. Be right back. Don't go anywhere.